Welcome everybody today. Deer season has officially ended. It was with great excitement today that we announced that Mike Fisher has some unfinished business and intends to make a comeback with the Nashville Predators for the stretch run for the 17-18 regular season, and what we hope is a Stanley Cup playoff run that ends with 2 more victories than it did last spring. Mike began skating on his own today, and he will work towards practicing with the team with the intention of signing a contract before the trade deadline on February 26th. All of us here know what Mike has brought to our team, our organization, the community in past years, and we are confident he is capable of being a significant contributor on the ice, as well as providing invaluable leadership and presence in the locker room. With regards to our core leadership group, none of that will change. Roman Josi, Ryan Ellis, Matthias Ekholm, Philip Forsberg, and Ryan Johansson will remain in their same roles they've assumed all season, as Mike has come back for a chance to win the cup, and not his current position as captain. Just to give you a little bit of background on how this took place and how we got to this point. At the end of last year, the exit meeting and what have you, we talked, and Mike wasn't sure what he was going to do. I guess we all felt in our gut that maybe this was going to be Mike's last year, and at some point in July, he told us he was going to retire. And we accepted that, we understand that, we respect that, but I think, at least in my gut, I'm going to speak for Lavi and probably a lot of Mike's teammates, we thought maybe there would be a chance, or maybe he would change his mind at some point. We talked in December as a hockey group and just shooting around ideas of what we need and moving forward, as you always do. And of course, Mike's name got brought up, and we said, I think he's happy. And every day I'm seeing all these pictures of him deer hunting, so I'm thinking he's relatively happy. But to make a long story short, we reached out to Mike, and there was a few conversations. And at the end of the day, Roman Josi, our captain, met with Mike and had a conversation. And I'm sure it was a combination of a lot of things that got Mike over the hump to make this decision. But what's really important here is that he did make the decision, and he does want to come back, and he has the fire to come back, the will to come back. Everything that I've ever known about Mike, the time that he's been here, is that he sets something that he's challenged, that he thinks he can do, he will get it done. I know he's going to have a little bit of work to do on and off the ice. We have no timetable for his return. We're going to be patient. We're going to see when he's ready to go, and we're just going to manage this between Lavi, myself, and Mike, and all this is really for getting ready for the playoffs. So without further ado, I am really happy that, Mike, you're coming back. I mean a lot to our organization. You've done so much for us so far, both on and off the ice, and we're all hoping to have a really great playoff run this year, and I know your contribution will be immense. So thank you very much for me as the general manager. I'm speaking for Lavi. Met with the players this morning for a few minutes, and they're all over the top about Mike coming back. So this is a huge day. This is really, really neat. So Mike, you got the floor.
Yeah, thanks, David. Well, bear with me. I'm still out of breath from the skate this morning. I'll get there. But yeah, it's great to be back. I mean, I think about the retirement, and then it always kind of bugged me, guys that came out of retirement, and for whatever reason, I don't know, but I never really thought it was a possibility. After I retired, I was done, and that's what I felt like was the right decision then. And I probably watched the team a lot this year, and was around a little bit, and had some conversations, like David said, about starting to come back. And the more I thought about it, I really didn't decide till recently, but I just thought about the opportunity, how good this team is. Thought about a lot about the run last year and what could be, and had the blessing from family and my wife, and I ultimately, the closer I got towards it, the closer I thought it'd be such a great opportunity, and it'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be some work, but I'm ready for it. And so that, and then just talking to David and Roman and Lavi And, you know, that's what made me decide that I'm in. I'm all in, and I'm excited, and you know, so it's great to be here, and thank you to these guys up here in the organization too. And I know it's going to be a special year.
What do you think, Mike? How long before you can get ready to play games?
Well, I watched a video this morning, and I was ready to play tomorrow, but no, like David said, there's no real timetable. I'm going to see just how I feel, skate on my own for a little bit, and just try to get in shape. I mean, I've worked out a little bit, and, but I know it's going to take me a little bit of time to get back into real game shape, but we'll kind of see how it goes. That's the plan. So,
David, are there any CBA kind of stipulations or rules of any kind of bringing a player this late, or when he can come in?
No, he's just tryout or something like that. So he just plays, and like I say, I think our relationship is strong enough that we go day by day, and we'll make the decision at the right time. I'm sure we'll make that decision. I'm completely confident Mike is going to play. As I said earlier, anything he sets his mind to do, I know he can do. But like I say, we don't start the playoffs for 2 months, so we got a real long time here. We'll just let him do his thing for the next 2 or 3 weeks and see where it takes us.
Mike, are you looking at this as just coming back for this run, or have you thought about beyond that?
I told David had to be 3-year deals. No, it's just for this year. Yeah, that's my plan, and yeah. Well, yeah.
Were you missing the game like early on when the season started, or was it just kind of when these conversations started that you thought, hey, that's a good idea?
A little bit of both. I mean, retirement, I have enjoyed it, and there's always, like, everyone misses a game. There's no question. You miss lots of different parts of it, and the closer I got toward having some of these conversations, the more you start thinking about what the opportunity and how much fun it'd be, and yeah, just being a part of something like that. I mean, it's an honor to be able to do that too, and have a team that wants me and that I can do that. And that was never the plan all along. There's for me to come back, but the more I thought and prayed about it, and went through the whole emotions of kind of revisiting retiring again, and the more I knew that it was something I wanted to do.
Mike, I know you were very disappointed, as was everybody, about not being able to win the Cup last year, but how much of a motivating factor does that play in trying to make a return here and make a big playoff run? Yeah,
I mean, I believe this team is is built to win, and we have a very good chance, and so that is part of the reason why I want to come back and compete and be a part of it. But we didn't win last year, and it was the best time of my career, and we didn't win. So I believe that this year can be our year, and that's what I want to be a part of, and have some fun. So.
Peter, how are you getting in a veteran center?
Well, we're getting a terrific person. We're getting a lot of character put into our locker room, experience and leadership, a terrific player. So I mean, everybody's really happy that Mike's back. Like I said, there were some conversations with Roman, a couple weeks ago, and leadership group in the past few days, and these guys are extremely excited to have Mike back in the room. There's an awful lot of respect from everybody in the organization, from management to coaches to players, about Mike and who he is as a person and a player, and having him back in the mix.
David, does this function as your trade deadline acquisition, for lack of a better term?
I think it's one of my better ones, yes. Would you agree with that, Mike?
Well, it's the second time you've done it, right? But, I mean, with Mike's addition, do you expect to be active still at the deadline?
Again, just going to do our job. Like, we're having a pro call tomorrow. We had a pro meeting with all the guys in town last week, making lots of phone calls. Now we're going to look at every option to make sure we're in place if something comes along our way. I think we're in pretty good shape right now, but I'm not going to never say never, and we'll just see how that plays out to the end of February 26th.
Mike, what has retirement been like so far, other than the deer hunting?
Chasing around a 3-year-old at home, which kept me in shape. No, it's been busier than I really thought, but it's been good. We're doing a hunting show, and so I did that in the fall, and with family and friends, and and then just we're building a house and doing stuff like that, so that kind of keeps you busy. But that's over and done with now. And
What was the worst thing about it?
worst thing? I don't know. I like I said, I enjoyed it. It's different. There's always a transition when you've done something for so long, and that's part of it's gone. There's, I don't even want to call it a grieving process or whatever, but it's just there's a transition you're trying to get used to, life, and figuring out your own schedule. For 20-some years, you have your schedule handed to you, and now you gotta make your own schedule, which it feels weird, but you definitely get antsy at times because you're used to competition and you're used to being around the guys all the time, and so it's different, and that's one of the things I guess come Christmas, I told people that's when I really started to kind of miss the game, when it was Christmas time, and that's when it kind of hit me, I guess, a little bit. But but like I said, it's good to be back. So.
Did you think David was serious when he called you first time?
Well, first conversation I had was with Lavi. At that point, a few months ago, I really didn't think I was going to do it. To be honest, it was pretty much a no. But as it got closer, and then I had some other conversations that turned to a yes.
What was that conversation like with your family? Because they had you back, your wife and kid had you back for a few months now, and you had that conversation just to get to that point to decide to retire, and then now you have another one about coming back.
Well, I asked my son, and he's like, no. And I don't even know what he knew he was saying no to. But to be honest, Carrie she kept asking me almost every day what I was going to do. She wanted me to do it, and she's usually right. So, but no, and people that I just have discussions with, and our eyes light up of, that'd be cool, and but so I have definitely the blessing of family, and they're all pretty excited, for sure. So.
How much are you looking forward to, Mike, to some of those scenes like from last year with the big playoff games, the crowds, the scene, all that? Are you starting to anticipate some of that here as you begin skating again?
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's something that was special last year, and it's something you'll never forget, really. How awesome it was, and we want to do that again, and then some this year for sure.
What do you see your role once you get on the ice with this team?
I don't know what my role is going to be right now. I know what I believe I can do, and however I fit in is totally fine. I'm here to help the team. I'm not here for me personally to do, I believe I can contribute and play and come back and help this team, whatever that role is. Remains to be seen, but I'm not really concerned about that part of it. So.
Mike, you said you watched this team a lot this season. You said that. What was the mental anguish like to watch them and you couldn't help, or you couldn't lend an ear?
Well, I probably watched more games this year than I do in the past, just because you're always watching video and stuff. So it's kind of different as not playing. You're just a fan, and when you're not part of it, at certain times I'd be up out of my seat, I was like a fan. It's kind of weird, but that's just kind of how it is. You get fired up too, but it was fun. I'm just a fan of the team. So
And you said you got to get in skating shape, but physically you've had a little extra time off. Do you feel better kind of coming into the season that you don't have to play as much and you've had some extra time to heal up and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, the body feels good. I mean, it worked out a little bit, not a ton, but worked out, a little bit, feel good, and, I really have no concerns there at all, so, yeah.
Mike,
What was
did
the
you
moment
sense
in
that
this
it was a
process-
soft no to start with, or did you think, okay, that was, we asked, now let's move on?
It wasn't really a question at first. It wasn't a yes or no. There was never any pressure by me. Mike's had an open invitation to our locker room 24/7, whether it be game day, game, practice, it didn't matter. It was probably, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago or 2 months ago where he was in, and he came in just to see the guys and hang around. It's always great to see him and have him in the room, and we had a conversation, and I guess the thought went through my mind is, did he miss it? And so when it was put on the table, I did not seek a yes or no answer. I just wanted to put it out there to let him know that if he ever missed it and wanted to be a part of it and part of something down the stretch, that window was 100% open with myself and with David. And sometimes that information can just lead to something, and maybe it put it in Mike's head for time to think about it. Might have followed up with maybe another phone call or another text. Excuse me. I think David had maybe followed up with a phone call. Roman Yossi, maybe about 3 weeks ago, I talked to Roman. Roman, I think, maybe reached out to Mike, and they met and got together, and so it was just, and it was never a yes or no thing. It was more just a welcoming thing that if you have a desire to play and aren't sure how to get there, we have a desire to entertain the thought on how maybe we could get that done.
Mike, in that whole process, was there a turning point when you thought, gosh, this may actually be a reality? And then when was the final decision? Like, did you guys do this morning? Was it over the weekend? When was the actual final decision made?
Yeah, I didn't really, I guess, think seriously about it. So a few weeks ago when I talked to David, and then because there's a certain point where I know I need to have the time to get ready if I'm going to do it. I can't wait too long. I got to get in shape, get ready, and at that point I started to really seriously think about it and talk to people, close friends and family, and kind of get reactions and really just figure out what I feel like I'm supposed to do. And honestly, at that point, I was happy either way. But the closer I got to really thinking about it, praying about it, like I said, the more it was leading me towards coming back. And I started to work out a little bit last week, and you could just tell it was coming. And then I think it was this weekend, I guess it was, a few days ago, where it was when I talked to Lavi, and it was a definite yes. So it was a slow, gradual going, not really until the last couple of weeks. And I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. So.
What was the role of the conversation with Yossi in that, and what did you guys talk about? That was after you talked to David, correct?
Yeah, we just met, and it was just kind of catching up, and just talked a little bit about the opportunity, and just seeing it from a player's perspective. I never want to, if I was to come back, and I wouldn't, this wasn't the plan, and someone asked me last year after I retired jokingly, he's like, well, you come back for the playoffs. I said, not a chance. I said, I would never want to not play the whole season and go through the grind with the guys and come in for a few games and play the playoffs. Like that was never my intent, and sure enough, here I am. But I won't.
There's plenty of grind left. Plenty of meat on that. There's plenty of meat on that bone.
Yeah. But so anyway, he just talked from a player's perspective that the guys, would love to have me back, and it was something that they would want, and which helped. I mean, I never want to come in and I don't want guys to change just because I'm their former captor coming in. They have to all do their jobs, and and I just have to try and complement the whole group, and that's how I'm kind of looking at it, and that's what Roman and I kind of talked about. So.
Peter, this is a very rare thing in sports for somebody to come out of retirement like that. What does it say about Mike that you were willing to extend this invitation to a guy like him?
Well, I think at the end of last year, we respect Mike's decision, but that doesn't mean we couldn't be a little bit disappointed that Mike wouldn't come back, especially after the run that we had, but totally respected his decision. And again, the conversation was just to open a door. That was it. And if anything needed to be continued, it could. And sometimes you just need to know that those conversations are possible. But again, it goes to, I think, the person that we're putting inside of our locker room. There's not a guy down there right now that doesn't have a smile on their face year to year. Just the fact that Mike's going to come back and contribute in some way to our team at some point. So I think everybody realizes what we have in the room.